Excavation Profits Podcast by Excavation Marketing Pros. Interviews with successful excavation and septic business owners, revealing how they market and grow their business in today's economy. Hear directly from the most successful leaders in your business and discover what they're doing to keep their phone ringing, equipment running, and businesses booming. Now your host, Scott Andreessen.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Excavation Profits Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And we have a very special guest with us today, Mr. Andrew Drish. How are you doing, Andrew?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing very good, thanks. So I saw what you got going on with SmartCrewHQ. And for those that don't know, this is a really cool new app for dirt work contractors. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. But before we do, Andrew, can you kind of share a little bit about yourself, your background for those who don't know you?
Yeah, definitely. We'll get into that side of things. And I think if you're a small dirt work company, you're going to find this really interesting. How I got into this. So my family, we've got a 3-generation construction company. My grandpa started in 1952. Dad went into the 80s. When I was 13, I started working with my dad. And he put me in a trench and handed me a shovel. And he's like, I'm going to teach you how to run a shovel this summer so you learn how to work hard. And I learned how to work hard that summer. And I learned also how hard this work is. And that eventually pushed me, I decided I didn't want to go into the family business. And so long story short, I got really interested in business, and that got me really interested in technology. And I've spent the past 20 years in the tech world, and I built and invested in and advised a handful of tech companies. And I was off doing that. And then a little over a year ago, my cousin called me out of the blue because my cousin's taking over as the 3rd generation, and they were having some challenges because if you're in this, the family transition of power is always a gnarly one because you have to figure out the buyout, and my dad has 2 brothers in it. And so they were trying to navigate that, and they asked me for some advice on it. And I looked at it, I looked at the business, and I just wanted to put some tech in to help make the business more profitable. And I looked at the market, and the market for construction tech is absolutely atrocious. You have little time tracking apps that don't do all the stuff that you need to. You have your jobbers and your Trellos and project management stuff that isn't really designed for you. And then you've got your high-end expensive Trimble HCSS stuff, but they quote us $30 grand to just get a setup fee going for this thing. And the tech's just, it's bloated, it's complex, it's archaic. It was built 30 years ago, and nothing was built for small dirt work guys. So I had my tech team whip up a prototype, and I was like, Dad, if I were just doing everything custom for you, this is what I would build and how I would build it. And he looked at it, he's like, man, if you built this, we would buy this from you. And my dad hates spending money. So I was like, well, how much would you want to pay for it? And he's like, I don't know, $600 a month or so. And I was like, interesting. And so I cold called a bunch of contractors, which was so much fun because contractors love getting cold calls. And but I got a couple, and I showed it to them, and I had people tell me they've been looking for this software for 10 years, and I had a bunch of people come on board. So we spent a year promoting or building this software, and then ConExpo heard about what we were doing. They asked me to come speak at their small business day and share it with people, and then we just got flooded with interest on this thing. And so we're full throttle moving forward with this. We've got people on it. We're in private beta right now, and it's just been rocking. That's how it all came to be. That's how we got started in this world. I haven't built a construction company. I've never operated one, but I know software, and I'm really good at keeping software simple, which is what we need as small contractors. We need simplicity, and we need to be able to handle all of the stuff that manages the business side of things. And so that's how we got started with it.
So what sort of pain points or problems did you discover either through working with your dad or with other contractors that this is helping to solve?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're trying to manage the business, depending on your size, You either run on paper and Excel spreadsheets, or you try and patch together a time tracking app with some Excel sheet, maybe a job or something. But none of the data is centralized. The biggest issue is like we'll run a $2 million job, and we have no idea if that job is profitable or not until it's over. And it is impossible to run a business that way. Because we do payroll every 2 weeks. We're on paper time cards. It takes a week to enter. All the data is in QuickBooks. We can't query it. We can't get the data. So we're like 4 weeks out from getting any data. So the first thing I wanted was real-time data. So I wanted to be able to put a bid in, and then based off the bid, based on all of our budgets and cost codes and things, I wanted to see real-time metrics within 24 hours of how we're tracking on a job, so that we can say, if we're doing a 2-month job and we're 30 days into it, we're halfway through the job, we can see what our labor burn is. And so we can say we're 70% through our labor budget, we're halfway through the job, guys, we're way behind on this and we got to hustle. So that was like the main first thing that I wanted. And then as I started showing it, people asked for all these other things like equipment service records. We store all of those in Excel, and we have no way of really managing that. So we built in a service record management side where if someone's out in the field and they see they're on a piece of equipment that needs an oil change, they fill out a service request from the mobile app. It takes 2 seconds. And then that goes into a project management queue for your shop. And now you can manage your entire shop. You have all your service records tagged on each piece of equipment. All that data gets tracked. Does that make sense so far?
It does. I guess a question that I have that others might be having is, it is tracking expenses, you mentioned, correct?
Yeah.
And so is it like tying into QuickBooks, or where is it getting that kind of information so they can be confident in their numbers?
Yeah, so we have all of the functionality a standard time tracking app would have. So that's where we start. Is like people are logging their hours, they're logging their equipment hours, cost codes if you're using those things. That gets pushed into our database. That's what gives us all the metrics on the projects and things. So does that make sense? How that data is coming from?
Yeah, okay. Very
because
good.
most time tracking apps, you record your time and equipment, but then that just goes into like a payroll thing, and it doesn't actually tag that to a project and allow you to run your budget on the project and see the data in real time. So that's where we pull the data from. Obviously, there's material orders and stuff like that you can enter into this and track as well. And then we're building in integration into QuickBooks so that all this data will just pass straight into QuickBooks for you. So you're not having to double entry. You just got it all in one place for you.
So you mentioned how it is letting dirt work contractors know if they're profitable, if they're going to be profitable in advance, basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you like give an example of that, or show, or would it be better to show an example?
Yeah, I can totally show you. Yeah.
So for people that like tune in later on YouTube, they can visually see it, but then we can like, talk it out for those on the podcast as well.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Let's go ahead and do that then. I'm gonna open that up to you.
Yeah, I'll show you this exactly. You can see how some of this stuff functions, which is really cool. So what you're looking at here is kind of just a main dashboard, and this shows everything that's happening in the business. So you can look at your labor expense, material expense, equipment expense. You can sort it by day, by week, by month, and these numbers all update here. And this is dummy data, just so you know, it's a test account. You've got your employee map here. So we have this cool GPS functionality where you can actually see where your employees are. If you want to do that, you don't have to enable it if you don't want to. So you can see where people are day of. You can see everybody who's clocked in, clocked out, what they're working on. This shows all your activity logs, like PTO requests, service requests, things that are happening across the business right here. This is your field notes. So when people post project updates, these all get posted here. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. The question around budgets, when I originally built this is the page that I wanted the most. And this is a page that would basically show us all of our, my internet's a little slow today. This would show all of our projects right here, and then it shows progress and it shows revenue and expenses on this. And the expense numbers get updated every day. So if I go down to a project page, This is what a project view looks like. So you have all your project data up here. You've got your bid at a high level, so revenue, expenses, and profit, what you're expecting on it. And then your expenses get broken down into your labor budget, your material budget, and your equipment budget. Others for change orders or change orders, things like that, subcontractors and things. So as employees log their hours every single day, all these hours get shown up right down here. Your equipment hours get shown up right here, and then your budgets get updated right here. So this is what gives us our in real time data, so that we can look at the bid and be like, all right, this is our labor budget. This is how much we burned on it so far. That makes sense so far?
Very nice. Yeah, that's pretty simple, straightforward to understand. Yeah.
It's so simple. That's why people love it, because it just like it happens automatically, and this is just a really easy interface for it. If you're a larger company and you're tracking bids at the cost code level, you can also do that down here. I don't have an example in this here, but you can basically, you would have all of your cost codes here. You have your budget for it. You have your actual and your variance right here. So then you're getting a deeper layer than just like labor, materials, and equipment. You can actually see, if it's site prep, you can see how much on the site prep side you burned through.
So then you have a clear view of your numbers and your profit margin in real time on the job. Then is this also used as a bidding tool, or not a bidding tool, but like are contractors using this to give quotes and estimates?
Yeah. It's going to be so great. We're building the bid tool this summer. Wow. I'll show you two other things. So we have a CRM pipeline. So and I'll come back to projects, but another thing, we do a terrible job of when people call, we write it on a sticky note, for a project. And so we built this pipeline in here. So when somebody calls now, you just add a deal, pick the customer, say the deal name, the value of it. All your activities tracked here. All your follow-up items get logged here. You have documents to upload the bids and stuff here, and then notes go here. So now you can see all the leads that are in the bank. Once you put a bid together, all the proposals are right here. So you know everything that's out to bid. You know the value of that that's in the works. Once you're negotiating, you're right here, and then you win it and you click start project. Yeah, go ahead.
So just visually, so people listening can understand too, is you have like 5 columns, one for all your leads. The next one is qualified, which would be your qualified leads. And then out of those, the next column's proposal. You're sending out your actual quote. And then the next column's negotiation. So I guess that's the back and forth until it becomes a deal or not. And then you have your final column 1 for when you win the job. And then it's got all the contacts in each column. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool.
And then it's got all your sales action items here too. So all your follow-ups, who you need to talk to, stuff you need to put together for it. So the idea where we want to get to with this is like, we want to have everything vertically integrated into one place, because that's how you have software that's great. Is like customer calls, you track it in the pipeline. This summer, we're going to build the bid tool out so you can actually put the bids together in this thing. And then once the project's run, you hit run and you can run and track the data straight off of the bid. So that's where we're going with it.
Very nice.
Back on the project page. So we talked about the project details and the financials and the tracking on it, but we also have this space here for documents. So if people need site plans, safety maps, or safety docs, maps, like any of the stuff they need in the field, you upload it here. It's available in the mobile app. So then they have it right on the field with one click. When they're in the field, our clients love this thing. So we have a thing called field notes. So they click on the project, they just take a photo, they type in what they got done for the day. So then you have like a whole list of all your project updates in one place. And the point of this page is that if a client calls and they're like, what's going on with this project? You bring this page up and you already have all your data. It's all organized. You know all your project updates in one place. And you can just manage that stuff so much better. That makes sense?
For sure. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Very clever.
Yeah. It's super cool. So this is like the first thing that I wanted. And then as I started showing it to people, then they wanted this side into it. And what this is for managing all of your equipment. So we treat each piece of equipment like you would treat an employee. So it has a profile, it has an hourly rate assigned to it. You have fields to track VIN numbers, purchase price, year bought, all of those things. Every hour that gets logged on the piece of equipment gets logged on this equipment profile page. So you can see all the history of what projects it was on, who the operator was. But then we have all of our service requests here too. So you can upload anytime you do an overhaul, you do maintenance on something, you can enter all of this in. You can put your parts cost, your labor cost on it. You can upload receipts, parts numbers, air filter sizes, all of that stuff that you need to track. And the idea with this is like if you track your maintenance records well and you sell it, you can give this to the buyer and you should get a premium on it because you have all this data here to justify the price on it. That makes sense?
Very nice. So this really goes a long way to making sure the contractor business owner knows their numbers.
Oh yeah.
That's great.
And then another piece on the equipment side, we got audited by the DOT and it was like extortion. Like we had to show all our records for 3 years and it was brutal. And so we put in a DOT form in the mobile app where when somebody hops on a truck and trailer, they do the standard DOT checklist, they submit it, it goes on the equipment profile. So if we ever get audited in the future again, all we have to do is export all this data, give it to the auditor, and we're done with it. So that's why we have all that. And
Very
then
nice.
on the service piece, you know, it's so hard to track all of these things because when you're in busy season and you see a parts falling off on a piece of equipment, you can't just get to it right away. So in the mobile app, they submit a service request. They say what the piece of equipment is, what's wrong with it. And then all that goes into a service queue. So here, this becomes your project management system for your shop. So now you can see every piece of equipment, what the service request is on it, how urgent it is, and then what's getting worked on in the shop in real time.
Mm-hmm. Now, what is the learning curve on this? From what I see, it looks pretty simple to operate, but what has the learning curve been for the typical business owner that gets into this, and how do you guys support them in that?
Yeah, we're fully in it with you. Like we'll help train your staff on this and get this thing going. My philosophy on software is that great software should not need a user manual. Great software should feel really intuitive and really natural. And so everything that you're doing in this software is stuff you're already doing. You're doing it through Excel, you're doing it through, you know, databases or little apps and things like that. We've just simplified all of the inputs on that side of things. So there is a little bit of a learning curve on this thing. Probably 4 weeks or so of really playing with it to get all the features. I mean, it's a powerhouse. There's a lot of things that you can do on this, but the interface is simple enough that it's not a complex powerhouse. And what I mean by that is most construction tech was built by a contractor who was successful in contracting, and then he went into the software side. And the mistake they all make when they do that is they hire software engineers to get everything started, because engineers are great at building things, but they're notorious for overcomplicating things. And so you end up with a piece of software that can do a bunch of things, but the user experience is so bad that people won't want to use it because it's not intuitive and it's too complex. I'm a software first guy, so I look at everything through the lens of simplicity and reduction. How do we keep the software as simple as we possibly can while giving you all the features that you need? So that's what we really want this to be as simple as possible.
So with the messaging, I see it does messaging as well. How would that work?
Yeah, so we have two things in here. So, you know, a lot of guys do your daily huddles in the morning. Some people will send a text message or an email. So we built a dispatch program where you can post an announcement here. You can say, hey, here's what today's plan is. Crew 1, you're going to this project. Crew 2, you're going here. Bring the dozer, bring fuel. And you can post this, and then this gets sent as an alert to everybody's phone so they have their marching orders for the day. So you can select it to individual people, you can break it by crew, or you can send it to the entire company. So we have that side for just your one-way announcement kind of communication. And then we're building in instant messaging into the app as well. So you can break your team into crews, and they can have a text thread, an instant message thread in the app like you would have as like a WhatsApp, because what we have now is like we'll juggle 7 different iPhone threads with different groups of 5 people and 3 people and 2 people. And so we want to put all that into one place. And then that way you own all of your data. It's all tracked in the app and everything. This is primitive. We're still dialing that one in, but we've got the baseline functionality for it.
Very nice. Very nice. So it's got the desktop app, it's got the smartphone app. I'm sure it works great on tablet.
Yep.
What are some of the things that your clients using this have said they love most about it?
Yeah, the data is huge. People love getting the data piece. The field notes piece, so one of our clients loved the field notes. They made it just standard operating where everybody has to submit a field note at the end of the day. Because when you submit the field note, when you get to the project in the morning, you can just click on the project, see the note from yesterday, see what got done, and then you know what needs to get done the next day. So they love that side of things. I've had some people just sign up for the equipment service records because there was a company on Fleet EO. They were paying $6,000 a year for basically tracking maintenance records and things like that. And so we had people sign up just for that piece. One of the other pieces, and this is going to depend on your management philosophy, but we have this GPS functionality where you can build geofences around projects. And so you can use the geofencing to autofill somebody's time card. So you can set this up so that you drive into the shop in the morning and it'll automatically clock them in based on their location. And then they get to project 1, it'll auto log their time on project 1. And then when you look at their time cards for the week, you can see this here. This is like a standard QuickBooks time card functionality. You see their entire week, check in, clock out time, broken down by project. But if you scroll down here, okay, that guy wasn't driving around there. Let me see if Kevin was. Well, you can see all the map functionality here. I don't know why this isn't showing right now. Yeah, go ahead.
To get the GPS to work for employees and team members, how does that work? Like they have it on their phone on the app, and then it's able to track them like that, so you know where they are? Yeah.
And you can turn that on and off. Like that's not a force thing. I'm getting a little bit of a glitch right now on this piece, so I'll show you this. But like the GPSs are here, and then it'll show their like travel schedule and stuff throughout the day. So again, this is like some people love this, some people hate it. You can turn it on and off depending on what your philosophy is on things.
Kind of like Big Brother's watching. You may. So I get it. Is that kind of what it is? Like you.
Well, some people really feel that way, and they don't want that. We don't share any location data when people aren't clocked in. It's only when they're in. And then, but some people really love it because they hate filling out time cards because it's a pain. So some people just want to drive around and have it log their time card for them. And so that's why they want that side of things.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's easier on everyone.
Yeah, totally.
Well, when you were putting this together, I mean, this is pretty robust right now, what you got, and you got so much more that you're putting into it. What were some of the pitfalls and things as you were developing this that you had to overcome?
I mean, first thing is like figuring this whole thing out because I have no experience in construction. I don't know anything about it. And so just understanding all of the workflows. So I would go to people's offices and I would sit down with them and I would watch how they entered all their data, how the documents would move, what the workflows and stuff would be. So it was just really challenging to sort that piece out. And then from a data architecture standpoint, there's so much complexity going into this thing. That part was really difficult. Another thing, this is going to sound really trivial depending on what you guys are, but if you look at every time tracking app, with geofences, they use circles. So you put a pin and you put a radius and it's a circle. And then that gives you your kind of blueprint of where people clock in and out. But we'll do projects that are like a 3-mile road and you can't have a circle that's 6 miles wide, and so we have the ability to draw polygons on the geofence thing. It sounds really simple. It's a engineering nightmare. So we figured stuff like that out. That's been the hard piece, but it's been so I'm really in touch with all my customers. I talk with them all the time, and they're basically guiding us and telling us all the things that they want. And because we're only focused on small dirt work contractors between like 5 and 50 people, all of those companies pretty much have the same use case. Versus if we were selling to HVAC or plumbers or electricians, you have completely different issues. And so this is allowing is that it feels to everybody like they're getting custom software built for them, because we're only on one vertical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so if they're doing any type of excavation, demolition, trenching jobs, all that
Yeah.
stuff, this would be right up
City
their alley.
sewer water. Yeah. Yeah. City sewer
Mm-hmm.
water. We've got rock crushing companies. We got asphalt companies. Um, it, it's the standard through line is like heavy equipment dirt work. With the other thing with tech is like a lot of the big players in the software space are built for vertical builds. You know, Builder Trend, Contractor Foreman, all those companies are designed for vertical building. And again, completely different use case, completely different workflows, than somebody
Mm-hmm.
doing dirt work.
Nice.
Septic companies, we've got septic companies too on it. We're going to build in a recurring project view so that septic companies, when they have their maintenance contracts, can run all those through here. Um, that's in the pipeline as well.
Oh, very nice. Awesome. So how can people learn more about
Yeah. Do you want to see the
Smart
mobile
Crew
side?
HQ and hmm?
Do you want to see the mobile side?
I would love to see the mobile side.
Let me see if I can get it up. Because the mobile
And that's
side is
got to be
awesome.
typically the most used view, I would think, with the contractors, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing with the mobile side is like my dad is 65 years old and he hates technology. So I had to design this for him, which means it has to be really simple, big buttons, big words, and then like as simple as we possibly can make it. So you can see I'm clocking in here. I select a project for the day. Your top recent projects always go to the top, because you're typically working on the same three things.
And it does
Um,
have a nice big font, by the way. I like that.
yeah,
It
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah. Totally, right? And so you got
big
that,
buttons,
you can
big
clock.
font. That should be the rule for every
Yep.
app.
I know, man. And then I'll show you one other little feature I put in here. So like so here you can see I'm clocked in, I'm on the project, I've got my activity code here. If I want to switch it, it's so simple. That's going to disable my geofence on it because I'm not in a geofence location. So I just go from shop, I go to this project, your cost code, you have a default cost code that auto pops up, and you switch. It's 2 clicks, and now you're on a new project.
Hmm.
This this updates your timeline. So this is your card for the day, your time card. You can look at your week. You can track your overtime hours, see if you're on track or not. But I'll show you this functionality that's really cool. So when people go to clock out at the end of the day, their time card pops up. They can edit it, change things if they need to. And then you can add any notes, if there's things that you need to communicate to the admins. But we put this microphone thing here, and this is for my dad because he hates typing with his thumbs on a phone. So this microphone, you click the little button, you say, "Hey, today I got done this, this, and this." And you can see it's super fast, super accurate. So you don't even have to type stuff in. You
Oh,
can just use your
it's
voice notes on
dictating the
everything.
speech. Very
You can
nice.
dictate all of it. Yeah. So we've got that. And then on the project side, let me scroll down to shop here. You can click on a project, and then all those documents are here. All your field notes are right here. You want to add a field note. Again, you've got your dictation right here. You take a photo and you're done. It's 3 clicks. And so it makes it really, really easy for people to log these things. Um,
Mhm.